Sexual crimes targeting young women in Boulder. Tonight, what we're learning about the suspect now in custody. Plus, a hotel helping Coloradans struggling with homelessness gets ready to close its doors.
We're just wondering where we're going to go or what we're going to do.
150 residents now on short notice with less than a week to move out.
Now I'm going to be in the streets, no places to eat, no places to get clean water.
The tables are ready and the utensils are set.
They come, they have to have a good food.
Dining out returning to pre-pandemic levels.
They encourage me to keep going and not give up.
Good evening and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter. Days after a string of lewd acts and burglaries left CU Boulder students terrified, Boulder police say a juvenile is responsible. The incidents happened over Labor Day weekend. Police say a 17-year-old entered 3 apartments through an open door or window while women were inside sleeping. Denver 7's CB Cotton reports this teen has been charged with similar crimes before.
Jessica, that's right. Boulder County District Attorney Michael Doherty says this teen was charged with indecent exposure last year. He says clues from that case connected this teen to these most recent crimes. Because the teen is a juvenile, police can't share his name or photo, but officers say the 17-year-old is now accused of breaking into 3 different apartments over Labor Day weekend and performing lewd acts while women slept inside each home. Boulder police say detectives noticed similarities between these crimes and a 2021 case where the juvenile pleaded guilty to indecent exposure. This Thursday, officers say they surveilled the teen's home and took him into custody for violating his probation. Later, officers secured a search warrant of the teen's home, and Boulder police say they found evidence connecting the teen to the Labor Day crimes. The district attorney said he couldn't say at this point whether the teen's parents will face charges.
And I believe that's the subject of additional investigation by the police department, and questions about whether the parents were aware that he was leaving the house or not are things that the police have been working on.
This teen now faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of indecent exposure. He's now on a no bond hold at a juvenile detention facility. For Denver 7 News on Local 3, I'm CB Cotton.
CB, thank you. And that suspect also stole 1 victim's car and is also facing 1 count of aggravated vehicle theft and 3 counts of second-degree burglary, among other charges. DA Doherty says that the case could remain in the juvenile system, or his office could evaluate and decide to try the teen as an adult. Well, crews are making progress for the CR21 fire in Larimer County. All remaining voluntary evacuations have been lifted for people in the area south of County Road 66 to Highway 287. Current mapping shows the fire is at 212 acres with 50% containment. The heat wave is over for now, but things are about to get much cooler this weekend. Here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson with a look ahead. Hey, good evening, Mike.
Hi, JP. Yeah, big changes from yesterday. Look at this. We're 53 degrees right now in Denver, and it's 46 up at Cheyenne and Laramie. Now, still 83 out at Grand Junction, but this is the 24-hour temperature change. We're 33 degrees colder right now than we were this time yesterday. Obviously, there's a front in there someplace, and there's a cold front that is pushed into the central part of the state. Cooler air coming in from the north and east. Doesn't look like much over Colorado's northeast plains, but there's a low band of clouds and a few light showers developing. We're going to have areas of low clouds, fog, and drizzle early in the morning on Saturday. So the weather headlines, it's an extra blanket night tonight. Cloudy and cool Saturday with some fog and some drizzle expected. If you're going to already be depressed about the cloudy, cool conditions by late tomorrow afternoon, it'll turn warmer again with sunshine returning for Sunday and Monday. I'll have your full 7-day forecast coming up in about 20 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. A group of 150 people are at risk of facing homelessness in Denver. They have stayed at the Quality Inn Motel as a shelter for a year, but the hotel at Zunai and 27th is closing next week. Today, residents sent a letter to the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless asking them to extend their stay until the end of the year because not everyone has their next move planned out. Here's Denver 7's Bayon Wang.
We haven't had this type of stability or consistency in our life in years.
It's the type of stability that's taken Michelle Colvard years to provide for her 3 children.
They are my strength. They're my strength. They keep me strong.
The kind of strength she needs each day
We have been chronically homeless.
and needed in years past.
I was escaping a domestic violence situation, so I drove here from Nevada to get away from that, and these people helped me.
A private room at the Quality Inn off Zunai and 27th became their new home, a motel turned into a shelter during the pandemic by the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless.
But we've been here consistently since September of last year.
Toward the end of August, more than 150 others in similar situations also lived there. On August 17th, they were all notified the shelter is closing in a month. So far, only 41% of them have plans to transition to other housing or shelters.
I'm wondering how I'm going to get my kids back and forth to school from wherever it is that we move, because he's already got to catch 3 buses from here to get to school.
Colvard's concerns are echoed by others like Mike Flores, struggling to plan next steps.
Because me and my wife are legally married, and they're trying to break us up. There's no places for couples.
While there are other places that serve couples, Denver's Department of Housing Stability says couples leaving the Quality Inn may have to stay at separate facilities if capacity's full.
Our TV, our clothes, we might have to throw in the trash. And she's crying that there's nowhere to go. She's stressing that we're going to be in the streets.
The Quality Inn was never supposed to be a permanent stay for Denver's vulnerable population. FEMA money assisted the operation. Funds the city is expecting to dwindle.
This was like so short notice. It's like everybody's just like kind of like in limbo, and we're just like wondering like where we're going to go, what we're going to do.
Bayan Wang, Denver 7.
FEMA funds are supporting 2 other motel shelters in Denver. The city says those facilities are serving about 140 people, and one of them will also be closing on December 31st. The Justice Department and attorneys for former President Donald Trump have submitted proposals for candidates regarding who should serve as special master to review the documents seized at Mar-a-Lago last month. They had until midnight tonight to submit them. Federal officials have been forced to stop investigating the top secret papers after a judge ordered the third-party ruling. The DOJ says they will appeal to the 11th Circuit next week if they are not permitted to move forward. It has been a tough few years for Colorado's restaurant industry between pandemic closures, labor shortages, and supply chain issues. But there is some good news. New data shows that reservations are consistently higher than pre-pandemic levels for the first time. Denver 7's Rob Harris tells us what this rebound in customers means for local restaurants, even as other challenges continue.
For Unjit Hardacre, this bustling kitchen is her dream come true.
You have to do what you love. I love to cook. I love food.
But this dream almost came to an end. Daughter Thai Kitchen opened just months before the COVID-19 pandemic rocked the entire restaurant industry.
Just sad, like in the first 2 days, just sad, like what is happened? We just opened the business.
In the early months of the pandemic, there were worries that COVID-19 would permanently shut Daughter Thai's doors. But the customers were supportive, and even when only takeout orders were the option, they showed up.
You know what? We got the tip like $1,000 for 1 week because people, like our customer and people feel for us.
The ride back to normal has been a bumpy one, but the trajectory has been up since in-person dining reopened. The turnaround has been most visible this summer. Data from the online reservation system OpenTable shows that for the first time, reservations have consistently exceeded pre-pandemic numbers. In Colorado, they're up 26% from 2019.
Definitely bigger parties, not just only a couples dining in, but much bigger parties, 15 to 20. We even just booked a 40 people dinner next weekend.
Business is sizzling again for Daughter Thai Kitchen, and for Unjit Hardacre, who grew up in the rice fields of Thailand, it's the culmination of the American dream.
I feel great. I have to say thank you and appreciate all my customers. They encourage me to keep going and not give up.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
Well, some pandemic challenges are still persisting. Daughter Thai Kitchen is among many restaurants that are still struggling with increased supply costs and bringing in enough workers. Unja finds herself not only running her business, but helping out in the kitchen almost every day.
Coming up,
highly potent, and widely available.
We got to make sure we look out for our kids on this.
We're taking an in-depth look at marijuana concentrates and how it should be sold, advertised, and regulated in Colorado.
I just feel it's important to make sure that we keep the conversation open and not just one-sided.
The big chill compared to 24 hours ago. Tomorrow will really be a cool one.